So once again I am telling. So today we are going to discuss about the y parameters in terms of the ABCD parameters. So we have to start with the equations which represent the ABCD parameters, that is V1 equal to A into V2 minus B into I2 and I1 equal to C into V2 minus D into I2. Later I want to find y11 in terms of the ABCD parameters. Now note down the y parameter based on its definition, y11 based on its definition, that y11 equal to I1 by V1 at V2 equal to 0. So at V2 equal to 0, so what you have to do is replace V2 equal to 0 here in this equation and also here in this equation. Then the first two equations will becomes V1 equal to minus V1 equal to minus V into I2, because this V1 will be 0, and similarly I1 equal to, as V2 equal to 0, so we have minus D multiplied with I2, right? Now I want the I1 by V1, right? Y11 equal to I1 by V1. So Y11 equal to I1 by V1 means this is the I1, this is the I1 and this is the V1. So I1 by V1, that's nothing but the minus I1 by V1 value minus D into I2. So that is the I1 divided by V1 equal to minus
B into
I2. So that's equal to
D by B.
I2 would cancel, minus would cancel. So we have the D by B. That's it. So Y11 equal to D by B. Right. Similarly, I want to find Y21 now. I want to find Y21. So Y21, that's equal to, as per the definition, Y21 equal to I2 divided by V1 at V2 equal to 0. Y21 equal to I2 divided by V1 at V2 equal to 0. Done. Now, so same thing at V2 equal to 0. So when we keep the V2 equal to 0 here and V2 equal to 0 here, then we get these two equations, right? Now by using these two equations, we try to find the I2 by V1 ratio. So I2 by V1 ratio we can find from this equation. That's enough, right? So V1 equal to minus B into I2 kadamma. So I2 by V1 ఏమవుతుంది? So Y21 that's equal to I2 divided by V1, that's equal to ఏమొస్తుందమ్మా? I2 divided by V1, that's equal to minus 1 divided by B, right? From this equation, I2 by V1 that's equal to Y21, that's equal to 1 by B. So Y21 equal to 1 by B, right? Good. So later, now I want to calculate Y12 and Y22 in terms of the ABCD parameters again. I want to calculate Y12 and Y22 in terms of the ABCD parameters again. So since we are going to find in terms of the ABCD parameters, you have to use the first two equations as it is. ABCD parameter transmission and equations like this. Now I want to calculate the Y12. So note down the Y12 definition. Y12 equal to I1 divided by V2 at V1 equal to 0. Y1 equal to I1 divided by V2 at V1 equal to 0. Now, so as V1 equal to 0, so replace this V1 equal to 0 here. Then we have the first equation becomes 0 equal to A multiplied with V2 minus B multiplied with I2, right? Okay. Now, see, I want the I1 by V2, right? So here I have the I1, I have the V2, but I have the I2 again here. If I am able to find I2 in terms of V2, then replace that expression here and take V2 common and calculate the I1 by V2 later. So my first aim is I want to find the I2 in terms of the V2 that can be achieved from this equation. So what is the value of I2 in terms of V2? So I2 equal to A multiplied by V2 divided by B. A multiplied by V2 divided by B. Done. Now replace this I2 value here in this equation, second equation. Replace the I2 equal to A into V2 minus by B in the second equation. So now the second equation becomes I1 equal to C multiplied by V2 minus D multiplied by I2 expression into I2 equal to this one. This one is the I2. So control C, control V. So D into A into V2 divided by V2. Now from this equation, take V2 a common. If you take V2 common, we have the C minus D multiplied by A divided by B. C minus D multiplied by A divided by B. And again take the LCM. Then we have V2 multiplied by, we have C multiplied by B minus D multiplied by A and divided by B. Right? Now, so actually what we want? Y1 equal to I1 by V2. So I1 is here and V2 is here. So Y12 that's equal to I1 divided by V2, that's equal to, so if you move V2 toward this side, then it will be I1 by V2. Now what we have? So we have C multiplied by B minus D multiplied by A, D multiplied by A divided by B, right? So this is a Y12 you can find here. Y1 equal to BC minus AD by B. So it is a BC minus AD by B. So that is the Y12. That is how we can derive the Y12 expression in terms of the ABCD parameters. Later, now I want to find the Y22. I want to find the Y22 in terms of the ABCD parameters. So based on the definition, Y22 equal to I2 divided by V2 at V1 equal to 0. At V1 equal to 0, right? So V1 equal to 0. So if you keep V1 equal to 0 in this equation, then the first equation will be becomes like this. First equation becomes like this. And later it is reduced as I2 equal to A into V2 by B. So if you want to calculate the Y22, that's equal to in term I2 by V2 kada. I2 is here and V2 is here. So I2 by V2 equal to A by
B.
Yeah. So
B.
V2 equal to A by B. And Y12 equal to B into C minus AD by B. So everything will be derived. So the derivation is simple when compared to the Y parameters in terms of the Z parameters. So this is how we can derive the expression for Y parameters in terms of the ABCD or transmission line parameters. Right? Yeah. So you need to remember these equations for the competitive examination point of view. Again, these derivations can be helpful for you for the academic examination. Right? Later. Now, this is the exercise problem. We will you can do this one later. So now we will discuss about the Y parameters in terms of the hybrid parameters. Okay. Now we will try to represent the Y parameters, Y11, Y12, Y21 and Y22 in terms of the hybrid parameters, H11, H12, H21 and H22. So these equations 45 to 48 will represent the relation between the Y parameters and hybrid parameters. So as I said again, same thing. So these are, if you are able to remember, try to remember for the competitive examination point of view. And these are helpful for you if for any two-port network, if the hybrid parameters are given, then you can find Y parameters easily by using these relations. Now we will discuss about the derivations. So now I want to derive the expression. All the expressions are available. Now we are doing the derivation. So I want to derive the expression for the Y parameters in terms of the hybrid parameters. Y parameters in terms of the hybrid parameters. So first step is we need to take the equations which shows the hybrid parameters.
H parameters.
Right, good. So that's equal to hybrid parameters.
P1 equals to
P1 equal to H11 multiplied by
I1
I1
plus plus H1
H12
H12
multiplied
multiplied by V2
by V2, right? And I2 equal to H21 multiplied by
H121
I1
multiplied by I1
H22
plus
multiplied by,
H22 multiplied by V2.
right? Good. So now I want to find the y11 in terms of the hybrid
Y11.
parameters. So note down the definition for the hybrid parameter y11. So y11 equal to I1 divided by
I1 by V1
V1 at V2
V2
equal
equals
to
to 0.
0, right? At V2 equal to 0. Now replace the V2 equal to 0 in this equation here and in this equation here. Now the first two equations will become V1 equal to H11 into
H11
I1
into I1.
divided by, and this will be 0. This
We'll
will be
get
0, right? And the next one is I2
we'll get from this.
I2 equal to into right. Anyhow,
I2 equals
H21 multiplied by I,
I1.
I1.
I1, and it is a V1. Yes, it's a V1, right? Good. Now we required I1 by V1, right? So we can get from this equation directly. So y11 equal to I1 divided by
I1 by H11 into
I1
I1.
divided by V1. That's equal to endama I1 divided by V1.
H11
1
into
by
I1.
H11.
1 by H1.
H11.
So this is y11 equal to
1
1 by H11, right? Similarly, at V2 equal to 0, another parameter what we can find, that is the y21, right? At V2 equal to 0, we can find
Yes.
y21, right? So what is the definition of the y21?
I2 by V1.
Y21 equal to I2 divided by
I2 by V1.
V1 at V2 equal to 0, right?
V2 equals
V2
to
equal
0.
to 0. So at V2 equal to 0, that means when we replace V2 equal to 0 here and here, then we get these two equations. Now by using these equations, we need to find the I2 by V1 ratio, right? So how we get the I2 by
I2
V1
by
ratio?
V1.
Y21 that's equal to
Divide the second equation by first
second equation divided by first equation. Now we have the
equation.
Enthusnama H21 divided by
H21 by H11.
H21 divided by H11, right?
1 1.
So y21 equal to H21 divided by H1. So this is how we can find the y parameter y11 and y21 in terms of the hybrid parameters. Now we move to second thing, another thing, that is the
Y22.
so now again first copy these two equations, right? Now I want to calculate the y22, right? I want to find the y22 in terms of the in terms of the h parameters. So based on the definition, y22 equal to I2 divided by
I2 by V2.
at V1 equal
V1
to
equals to 0.
at V1 equal to 0 kadama. Now, so replace the V1 equal to 0 in this equation, first equation. Then the first equation becomes 0 equal to H11. So I can copy directly. Just in place of the V1, we keep the 0. H11 into I1 plus H12 into V2, right? And if you want to find the Y22,
I1 in terms of V2.
yeah, I2 by V1 we require, right? So from this equation, I2 is there, I1 is there, and V2 is there. So if we are able to find the I1 in terms of the V2, then we can take V2 common and we can find the I2 by V2 easily, right? So now we want the I1 in terms of the V2. I want the I1 in terms of the V2. You can use this equation. You can use this equation to find the I1 in terms of the V2. Huh? So I1 equal to minus H12 multiplied
1
by
2 by H11.
V2 divided by H11, right?
1 1.
Minus H12 into V2 divided by H11. Now replace this I1 expression in this in the second equation, right? So replace the I1 expression in the second equation. Then second equation becomes I2 equal to H21 multiplied by I1 ఉంది కదమ్మా. So I1 place lo just paste here. In the place of I1, keep this one. So that is the I1, right? Now, so I2 equal to H21 into I1 plus H22 multiplied by V2, right? Now I2 equal to, so from the above equation, take V2 common. If take V2 common, then what happened? Now V2 common is same. If you take V2 common, then we have minus sign ఉంది కదా ఇక్కడ. So we can write minus
minus
H21 multiplied by H12 divided by H11. అంతే కదమ్మా? Plus
H11.
H2. We can further
H2.
simplify this one as I2 equal to I2 equal to V2 multiplied by, take LCM, then we have minus H21 multiplied by
H21 into H
plus H11 multiplied by H22
H11
divided by H1, right? So that is I2 equal to V2.
11.
So based on our definition, Y2 equal to I2 by V2.
I2 by V.
Then we have Y22 equal to I2 by V2. That's equal to that's equal to
H11 into H22
into H22 minus H21 multiplied with
H21 into
divided by
H1.
So Y22 equal to H11 multiplied with H22 minus H21 divided by H12 divided by H11. Right? This is how we can derive the expression for the Y22 in terms of the hybrid parameters. So Y22 equal to H11 into H22 minus H12 into H21 divided by H11. Right? Later, I want to calculate Y. What
Y12.
V1 equal to 0? I think Y12.
Y12.
Y12 that's equal to I1 divided by V2 at V1 equal to 0, right? So V1 equal to 0, these equations we can use. These equations we can use. That is the 0 equal to H11 because in place of V1 we keep the 0. So 0 equal to H11 into I1 plus H12 into V2. And I want I1 by V2, right? I1 by V2, right? From here you can find, right? I1 equal to minus H21 into V2 divided by H11 kada. So I1 by V2 that's equal to Y12 equal to I1 by V2 that's equal to minus
H12
divided by
H11.
H12 divided by H11. So Y12 equal to minus H12 divided by H1. So this is how we can derive the expression for Y parameters in terms of the hybrid parameters. So derivation is helpful for the academic point of view for understanding, right? For the competitive examinations, you can try to remember these equations. So now there is a two problems in the slide. One is based on the Y parameter in terms of the H parameter, another is based on the Y parameter in terms of the ABCD parameters. So you can try to solve these two. Otherwise, we move for other also like let's try for ABCD parameters in terms of the Z parameters now. See, till now we discussed Z parameters in terms of the Y parameter, in terms of the ABCD parameters, in terms of the H parameters. Later we discussed Y parameters in terms of the Z parameter, Y parameters in terms of the ABCD parameters, Y parameters in terms of the hybrid parameters. Right? So that Y parameters also over. Now I want to derive the expression for, actually I didn't prepare the slide. Later I will share the screen. But anyhow, we have some 10 more minutes are there. We will try to derive the expression for ABCD parameters or transmission line parameters in terms of the Z parameters. Right? So now we will discuss the derivation now. Yeah. So I want to find the ABCD parameters or transmission line parameters in terms of the Z parameters, right? So what is the starting point for us?
You have to write the equations.
Amma?
Which are
correct.
I
want to calculate the
Z parameter equation.
parameters. So we have to note down the Z parameter equation.
Write the Z parameter equation.
Right, good. V1 equal to
Yes.
Z11 into I1 plus Z12
Z12
into I2
divided by
into I2.
V2 equal to Z21 multiplied by
I1
plus Z22 multiplied by I2.
I2.
Alright. So now I want to find the first A. I want to target on the A. So anyone can try to remember how we find the A from the ABCD parameters, the transformation parameters. A equal to, I think
V1 by V2.
V1
A
by
equals
V2.
to V1 by V2.
V2 at
V1 by
V2.
V1 by
I2
I2 equal to 0,
zero.
right?
I2.
I2 equal to 0, right? So keep I2 equal to 0 here in this equation and also here in this equation. Then the first two equations will become V1 equal to Z11, V1 equal to Z11 multiplied with I1, and second equation becomes V2 equal to Z21 multiplied with I1. Okay, Nama? So we want A, right? A equal to V1 by V2, kadamma. So if you divide the first equation divided by second equation, then we have A equal to
Second
Z11 divided by Z21. That's it. So A,
Z22.
ABC parameters, A in terms of the Z parameters. A equal to Z11 divided by Z21. So I forget, didn't prepare the slides actually. So you can remember, or you have to note down A equal to Z11 divided by Z21 in terms of the Z parameters. Similarly, I want to express the C in terms of the Z parameters. So what from the definition of the C can be written as C equal to end gutunda
I1 by V2.
I1 by V2.
I1 by
I1 by
V2.
V2 at
I2 equal to 0.
So at I equal to 0 means you can use these two equations again. You can use these two equations again. Now what happened? I1 by V2 cover kadamma. So equation chudandi.
Yes, sir.
So V2 equal to
Second
Z21
equation.
I1 kadam. So from here we can write
1 by
Z21.
C equal
E
to
equals to 1 by Z21.
1 by Z21.
Z2.
1 by
Z21.
right? Now I want to calculate the B now. I want to calculate B or minus B. Okay. So if I want to calculate the minus B, what is the relation? Anyone able to do? Minus B? That's
V1 by
V1 by
I2.
I2. At V2 equal to
I2
0.
at V2 equal to 0, right?
V2
So V2
equal to 0.
keep V2 equal to 0 here. Keep V2 equal to 0 in the second equation. Then the second equation will become 0 equal to, because V2 equal to 0, so 0 equal to this completely we can write. Right? Right. Now this right. Now B minus B equal to V1 by I2 kadamma. So first equation మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తే V1 ఉంది, I2 ఉంది, but here we have the I1. So we have to convert I1 in terms of the I2. So that can be done by using this equation. Convert I1 in terms of the I2. So we convert I1 in terms of the I2, then I1 equal to minus Z22 multiplied by I2 divided by Z21. Okay, na? Right. Now replace this I1. Now replace this I1. In which equation we have to replace? In in the first equation.
First
V1.
equation.
First equation, right? So now the first equation becomes V1 equal to V1 equal to Z11 multiplied by I1, and I1 will be taken from here. Taken from here, control V. Right? So that is I1 and plus Z12 multiplied by I2. Z12 multiplied by I2. Okay, Nama? Now take I2 common. Take I2 common. If you take I2 common, what happens? If you take I2 common from this equation, then we have I2 common this ఏమనుకున్నాము ఇక్కడ ఏముంటుంది మనకు minus Z11 into Z22 divided by Z21 plus Z12, right? So after taking the LCM, we have I2 multiplied by ఇక్కడ ఏమొస్తుందమ్మా minus Z, sorry, minus
Z11 into
Z11 into Z22 plus Z12 multiplied with Z21
Z21.
divided by Z21.
Z2.
Right. So from the definition of minus B, so minus B equal to V1 by I2 kadamma. So V1 equal to this one. So V1 by I2 equal to ఒకటే మనకు ఉంటుంది కదా. So B equal to minus B equal to that's it. Is it okay, ma'am? V1 by I2. So this is the final expression for minus B. If you want for B, then multiply both sides with the negative minus sign. So B will be, so this will become plus and this will become minus. So B equal to Z11 into Z22 minus Z12 into Z21 divided by Z21. So this is how we calculate the B in terms of the Z parameters, right? Similarly, so A over C over B. Now we need to concentrate on the D. So what is the definition of the D? D equal to D equal to
Minus I1.
I1 by V2.
Minus I1 by I2.
I1 by I2
I2.
I2.
V2 is equals to 0.
at V2, right? At V2 equal to 0. Good. At V2 equal to 0, right? So I1 by I2 kadamma. So ikkada chudandi at V2 equal to 0 ki ide expression kada mandi. At V2 equal to 0 kada manaki expression ochindamma. So from here I1 by I2 ఏమవుతుంది చూసారా? I1 by I2 equal to minus Z22 by Z21. So we can write minus D equal to ఏమొస్తుందమ్మా? Minus Z22 divided by Z21. And if you want the D value, then D we equal to plus Z22 divided by Z21, right? So this is the how we can find the ABCD parameters in terms of the Z parameters. So I will copy all the equation on one place. So this is the A and this is the C, right? Done. So this is the relation between the ABCD parameters in terms of the Z parameters. A equal to Z11 by Z21 and B equal to this one and C equal to 1 by Z21 and D equal to Z22 by Z21. So this is how we can derive the express the transmission parameters in terms of the Z parameters. We can derive the expression, right? In the same procedure we can apply to represent the ABCD parameters in terms of the Y parameters and ABCD parameters in terms of the H parameters also. Same procedure. Okay. So now we have the 4 more minutes. So you can do remaining part. That means ABCD parameters in terms of the H, ABCD parameters in terms of the Y as a homework. You can do it as a homework. Okay. If it is difficult for you, we will continue further tomorrow class also. And moreover, note down these 2 problems. So note down the problem. Yeah. For a given 2-port network, H11 equal to 2 ohms and H21 equal to 1 by 2, H21 equal to minus 1 by 2 and H22 equal to 1 by 2 more. Find the Y matrix. Okay. Na? So note down this problem and try to solve it. Just it is substitution of the values. That's it. So we have only 3 more minutes. Try to just note down this problem. Note down the values of H11, H12, H21 and H22. And find the Y parameter. Y matrix means Y11, Y12, Y21 and Y22. చెప్పండి అమ్మా.
సార్ మీరు నిన్న ఇచ్చిన ప్రాబ్లం కి ఆన్సర్స్ చెప్పారా సార్?
అమ్మా
నిన్న మీరు హోంవర్క్ ఒక ప్రాబ్లం ఇచ్చారు కదా సార్?
ఇప్పుడు నిన్న
Z parameters in terms of H parameters.
సరే ఆన్సర్స్ నేను రేపు క్లాస్ లో ప్రెజెంట్ చేస్తానండి అమ్మా. అంటే యాక్చువల్గా దీంట్లో స్లైడ్స్ లో ఆన్సర్స్ ఏం పెట్టలేదు. బట్ మీరే చెక్ చేసుకోండి, ఫ్రెండ్స్ ఏమైనా ఉంటే చెక్ చేసుకోండి. బట్ ఎనీహౌ మీకు కావాలి నిన్న ఈ ప్రాబ్లం ఇచ్చానమ్మా మీకు. ఇదా ఇది అనుకుంటా?
Yes sir.
I will give the answers in the tomorrow's class.
Okay, sir.
Okay, I will provide the answers and I will incorporate the answers in this slide only. I will present the answers in the tomorrow's class. But
Okay,
for
sir.
today, we
సిగ్నల్ లేదు.
note down this problem. So for all the problems, I will present the answers in the tomorrow's class. Okay. So for a given two-port network, A equal to 2, B equal to 5 ohms, and C equal to 1/3 mhos, and D equal to 4/3, and you have to find the Y matrix. Y matrix means Y11, Y12, Y21, and Y22. You have to present. Please note cheskunnama, only 1 minute undi. A equal to 2, B equal to 5, C equal to 1/3, D equal to 4/3, and you have to find the Y matrix. A equal to 2, B equal to 5, C equal to 1/3, and D equal to 4/3. You have to find the Y matrix Y11, Y12, Y21, and Y22. Okay. Similarly, here H11 equal to 2 ohms, H12 equal to 1/2, H21 equal to -1/2, H22 equal to 1/2 mhos, and you have to find the Y matrix. That is the Y11, Y12, Y21, and Y2. Okay, Nama? అయితే నాకు చిన్న సజెషన్ ఒకసారి ఏమైనా ఆలోచించారా? సో రేపు క్లాస్ లో మళ్ళీ ఏబిసిడి పారామీటర్స్, హెచ్ పారామీటర్స్ కన్వర్షన్ గురించి డిస్కస్ చేద్దామా? వేరే టాపిక్ మూవ్ అవుదామమ్మా?
వేరే టాపిక్ సార్.
ఓకే, ఇవి మీరు చేయగలరు అనుకుంటా కదా. ఏబిసిడి సేమ్ ప్రొసీజర్ కాబట్టి యూ కెన్ డూ యాజ్ ఎ హోంవర్క్, రైట్? సో if everyone agreed, I hope that everyone able to convert ABCD parameters in terms of Y parameters, ABCD parameters in terms of Y, ABCD parameters in terms of H, and similarly H parameters in terms of Z, H parameters in terms of Y, H parameters in terms of the ABCD. Do it as a homework, and if you have any problem, please let me know, or you can